Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again.
All right, good evening. Chris, how you doing, sir? So let's check out this question that was posted to Reddit here. This intrigues me. How are hedge funds loading up on stocks if they need our shares? I saw a post yesterday that said a hedge fund increased its position by 74, its AMC position by 74%. I guess I don't understand how they're able to buy that many shares when we are holding because they need our shares. If somebody can explain this to me, that would be great. I was under the impression that the only way they can buy is if we sold, and because of this, they are buying fake shares to bring the price down to trick people into selling. This obviously isn't true because they increased their position by 74%. I haven't looked at the comments yet on this. I'm really curious. Um, Manuel said it's an, basically it's an easy. What did he say? He said answer is obviously that hedge funds are buying synthetics. Apes and hedge funds are now allies, which I suppose is true if that's it. Um, so, I mean, that makes the most sense as far as what an ape would say. And make sure hear that part as far as what the apes would say. Um, and also, they're under the impression that the only way they can buy is if we sold. Well, I mean, the narrative is that the only way that the hedge funds can cover their short positions, which requires buying, that's all it does. That's all it requires is buying, like plain old regular buying, as if you were buying shares like they did here. So that's the requirement to close a short position, cover a short position, close a short position, take profits on a short position. So, I mean, I guess really this really isn't that far off. They were under the impression that the only way they can buy is if we sold. But I mean, I guess the circular logic question here is how do you think that apes are able to buy AMC shares, right? Retail investors. How do retail investors buy if retail investors or apes are not selling? I was under the impression that the only way that apes could buy is if apes were also selling, but who knows? Who knows? Buying fake shares to bring the price down to trick people into selling. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Buying fake shares to bring the price down. So buying real shares makes the price go up. Buying fake shares makes the price go down, I think. I think that's how it works. So, um, well, let's find out. Oh, I already saw it. I already saw it. Damn it. Naked shorts are shares that are being sold without existing. And that's not strictly speaking true. That's just not true. Naked shorts are shares that are being sold without existing? No, 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 they exist. Um, they just may not have been actually borrowed yet. And I'll get into that at another time. But it's interesting. I've been researching naked short selling, learning about it, and actually, well, anyway, I'll get into that later. You gotta plant some seeds for future streams. But let's just say that there's some interesting things to be learned about naked shorting as far as how it comes about in the market, why, and the effect that it has. You know me, I'm looking for the evidence. What is the evidence? What is the empirical evidence? And there's not a lot of great evidence, The SEC has no evidence, by the way, but we'll get there. Um, let's see here. Naked shorts are shares that are being sold without existing. To sell a share, someone needs to buy it. There are more shares being held by people than actually exist. You might remember that's the foundation of the short squeeze thesis. Oh, is it? It's the foundation of the short squeeze thesis. So to sell a share, someone needs to buy it. I mean, I think that they meant to say that backwards. To buy a share, somebody needs to sell it. But that really doesn't have any bearing on this at all. Of course, there's a buyer and a seller. That's a given. There are more shares being held by people than actually exist. I don't know how they can make this claim. Um, all of their share count attempts, which by the way, whatever happened to logthefloat.com? Whatever happened to abuser of oh, look at that. Failed this. Oh man. Wow. Website's no longer operable, I guess. Let's check out down detector, I guess, and find out, but log the float, I'm having problems with that. Logthefloat.com. Oh, sorry we couldn't find it. Well, shit. Okay. Log the floats down. Like how am I going to check to see if they've updated the logged float? More shares being held by people than actually exist. More shares being held by people than people that actually exist. I don't know. Um, I don't know how they know how many people are holding shares. It's not really discernible. Bimodal distribution or not. It absolutely is. No matter though, we're going to fly high. I hope soon because I'm tired of this game. It's been 2 years and boy, am I exhausted. Yeah, I bet. Got to maintain your sanity. Don't let this get to you. Well, wise words. Very helpful. Nothing more I can say. And I don't mean to sound harsh, just being real. I'm sure I'm not alone. And I don't even have that many shares. I mean, enough, but not like thousands like some do. So, let's see here. I don't have the chat. Well, I suppose I can do it real quick. But this one sec here. Get this thing in here, maybe. Uh, okay, and 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Oops. Oh, oh, somewhere in there in the middle. All right. Let's see here. Let's try this again. Bull run happening. The rules slash laws state a market maker can sell a security to facilitate a trade and will need to be covered. Correct? So selling something they don't have. Um, I suppose so. But that doesn't mean that they're not going to get it. And that's the thing. If you look at the FTDs, um, and there's actually, I'm reading this paper. Where is it? Right here? No, that's the code of ethics. But this paper is about naked short selling. Um, naked short selling, the emperor's new clothes, whatever. But they analyzed a lot of data. Now, this is a while back, like 2009 or so, but the same regulation was basically in place that's in place now. And actually, they determined that most failed to delivers get cleared up within 2 to 3 days. So, uh, and that makes sense because basically what happens is now we're talking about market makers, so that there's an exemption for that anyway. So that's not really relevant. But the shares are delivered. It just doesn't happen by the 2-day settlement period. That's all it is. It's a delay. It's like a delay. Uh, it's like, you know, a delay in the mail or delay in a package being delivered or something like that. That's what it is. It's not that you got scammed, that you never received it. And by the way, too, it doesn't even matter if you do receive it. I mean, you do, but it doesn't matter that you don't have it because you can still sell it. Like the uh, the participant who's the buyer, they have no idea about any of this because it doesn't matter. Um, so because effectively, and this is a kind of a twisted thing, but I mean, it makes sense. And I did come across this in this paper, not the AMC Code of Ethics, but basically, effectively, the buyer becomes the lender in those transactions where it hasn't been delivered by settlement. So somebody's somebody is selling it, right? Um, so the buyer is holding the collateral. The buyer is holding the sell value, what they could sell it for, as collateral over the head of the sell side. Anyway, um, but you know, there's a reason why. Uh, well, I was going to say there's a reason why most people haven't really heard about FTDs or care about them, um, because it doesn't matter at the end of the day, especially market maker naked shorting. I mean, that's if you didn't have that, you would have the market would be much shittier. Uh, and that's, that there's empirical evidence for that too. So, um, Badback says the apes don't understand the settlement process and confuse naked shorting with their grand conspiracy of synthetics. It's not like selling a car title because a share is a financial instrument, not a physical hold in hand item. And it is true that you don't sell car titles. You sell a car that has a title of ownership. That absolutely. But as Badback points out, this is the example that Wes Christian uses. He uses this example. He says that you're going to sell a car and you Xerox the car title 5 times, uh, and you sell the car 5 times without delivering the car, but you delivered the title, and those are like the synthetic shares uh, of the stock. So it doesn't really compute. I can't imagine buying a car sight unseen, even after I've paid for it, and I receive a Xerox of the title. I mean, it's pretty obvious when something's copied, usually. Um, and they come on, usually title certificates of title come on that fancy paper with a seal, that holographic seal. But beyond that, the title itself, the certificate of title, is not the same thing as the title. So that's a copy of, that's a printout from the government that says that, you own this. But if you lose that title, you don't lose the car. So the title is the certificate of title. I always say title when I mean certificate of title, but the certificate of title is a representation of the title, which is on file with, is it even a physical thing? I don't know. It's an entry in a computer. Um, I don't know what the dispute is here in the chat, but I mean, um, should that's the problem with the system. Should be clear the next day with technology we have now, or same day even. Um, I mean, maybe, but there's eh, there's a lot that goes into summing the all of the trades on 17 exchanges and off exchange and all that stuff. So I mean, I'm not saying that it's not possible, but this is the government basically. Now, I mean, supposedly the brokers own the DTCC, so they could make the investment, but The settlement period is shortened from basically a week to 3 days. It was 3 days, I believe, in the 90s, early 90s, mid 90s, and was shortened to 2 days not that long ago, 2016 maybe. So, um, uh, yeah, options are different. Options are different. They don't get cleared through the DTCC. Options are cleared through the OCC. So it's different. Um, Even in a cash account, um, stock trades take 2 days to clear. So you need the title. Let's see. Okay. But you know, just because uh well, I mean it could be the same, but it's not. So I don't know what to say there. I suppose maybe it could be the same. I don't know. But it's not. So that's enough of that. So let's see here. Where were we? I don't even know. Ah, yeah, naked shorts. So there's a lot of reasons why that can happen and beyond market maker stuff and um it's kind of a thing like generally speaking, well, you have easy to borrow stocks and hard to borrow stocks. And on easy to borrow stocks, uh, they're literally easy to borrow. And to me, it makes sense um, that the shares don't need to be available until the day that they settle. Um, if there's a problem and they're not available on that day, that's when it drags on for longer. But that's such a small percentage of the time. It's really not. It's more like this is what I and others have been trying to say for months, years, that it's a back office administrative thing. It doesn't mean that the shares don't exist. It doesn't mean that someone is not borrowing them. It doesn't mean that um, it didn't that the trade didn't affect the price. All of that stuff is not true because the price has already been affected by the transaction because the share was offered at a certain price or it was bid at a certain price. The trade was executed at a certain price. That all is already set in stone. So the issue is, again, did UPS drop off the package today or is it coming tomorrow? Right? But you could go on Amazon and say, hey, I don't want this. And then when it comes, you still have to wait until it gets to you. Here's why you can't do it. You have to wait until it gets to you in order to return it. And that would be like selling it in the analogy. So if you buy something and you decide that you don't like it anymore, before you receive it, you can't call UPS and tell them, hey, don't deliver that to me. Take it back or send it to this person. Um, you have to wait until you receive it so that you can then pass it on to the next person. And that process takes time. So, and it originates from when there were physical securities, certificates. So anyway, maybe with today's technology, they could do it instantaneously. But also, maybe there's something to be said for the fact that it's not instantaneous. Because when things are instantaneous, and mistakes are made, it can be a lot harder to correct them because now everything is set in stone, and that has affected other things down the line. So having a grace period may be a good idea. It's not necessarily good or appropriate for everything to happen instantaneously. That's all I'm saying. And this is wild that this is like a millennial saying this because we are the now generation, you know, used to getting everything. Maybe that's the Zoomers. I don't know. But anyway, hey, Lynn and Model 3 dude. What's up, guys? Exactly. Transaction's already taken place. That is already figured in the price. No price discovery has been lost. You're talking about administrative settlement doesn't affect price. That's exactly it. So anyway, yeah. Okay, then. So this post means nothing because those shares are fake. I don't think that anyway, I think you just have a flawed, I think you just have a flawed understanding of how the stock market works. It's just Excel sheets that say how many stocks someone owns. One hedge fund A can own 10 billion, minus 10 billion shares, and another B can own 10.5 billion shares, resulting in 500 million shares that actually exist as real shares, with 10 billion being synthetic. I mean, it's interesting that they start out with this. You don't understand how the stock market works. Then they say it's just Excel sheets that say how many stocks somebody owns, and that's not far off from the truth. I mean, it basically is. It's entries in a database. But then they go into this. One hedge fund can be short 10 billion shares and another can own 10 billion shares, resulting in 500 million shares that actually exist as real shares, with 10 billion being synthetic. I do not follow that at all. That seems to be complete nonsense. If A sells 100 million shares and B uses them to cover, uh, I mean, no. I guess what I'm trying to get at is how misinformation like this can be upvoted 800 times and I get downvoted for asking how this is possible. But it's obviously wrong information. Votes mean nothing, yet you feel concerned about getting downvoted. Why? I've never sucked up to anyone on Reddit and have had posts with hundreds of downvotes. So what? So what? I mean, liquid AT, bit of an asshole. And then they say, I'm not so much concerned about the damn votes as I am how the information is being received. I had a guy message me yesterday threatening me for asking so many questions and asking me if I'm being paid because I smell like shills. What's important is being able to ask questions and not having legitimate conversations basically pushed down and deleted because it doesn't sound like it goes with the crowd. I agree with that. With that said, I think we have a really good Don't agree with that. One, telling people what they should think. Okay, this person sucks because this sub is a cult whose mythology is nonsense. Wow. Wow. Bag holders anonymous. Shills are like Republicans. They project their shitty traits onto others. Uh, wow. Okay. Two important ideas here. One, the true short interest is much greater than is being reported. Okay, so that's a conspiracy theory. There's no evidence for that. None. That's the thing. That is the thing that's wild about the naked short catalyst or idea or myth or delusion. Um, the true short interest is much greater than being reported. There's no evidence to support that, except think they want to claim that they think the price is too low. They think the price is too low. And did you know in 2008 and 9, when these financial institutions collapsed, Lehman Brothers, etc., et al., naked shorting happened. It was legal. This research paper here, which I guess, you have to believe in, you know, empirical research that has footnotes and citations and whatnot. Um, they found that naked short selling really had nothing to do with the collapse of those institutions. In fact, naked shorting happened after their fate had already been sealed. The die had already been cast, and then naked shorting happened. And anyway, it wasn't even that, it was hedge funds short selling without borrowing. It was these administrative delays that took it past the 3-day settlement period. So you had just a lot of shorting. But anyway, there's no evidence for that. Two, bad guys keep the price low by opening new short positions with fake shares. Uh, okay, that's another amazingly stupid conspiracy theory. Bad guys. Well, first of all, who bad guys? So let's attribute it to quote unquote bad guys. Okay, keep the price low by BUY, opening new short positions. That's selling. It's not buying. I know. With fake shares, but that's literally not possible. An FTD or naked short in this context, it's not established as such. It's not established as a naked short. It's not established as, a trade that does not have a share that's being delivered. It is at the time that it's time to deliver the share, it can't be. So, and by the way, also, who's responsible for that? It's not the bad guys in this analogy would not be the hedge funds or the participant. It would be broker because they are the ones that find the share. So this is all off. I've read DD, which claims to prove these ideas, but it's all just word salad that I cannot understand. Well, it is just word salad. It's not that you can't understand it. Laser names, it's that it makes no sense. So, I mean, maybe I probably couldn't understand it either. So let me say this. The problem is that it can't be understood. The problem is that it literally cannot be understood by anybody because it makes no sense. Anyone can buy or sell a stock. Is the stock real or fake? You don't have a clue. If you DRS the stock, it will be real for sure. I think the hedges are trying to cover their ass by slowly buying shares to match shorted shares. So when the shit hits the fan, they will not lose as much. Just my opinion. Your broker is just the middleman to the market maker. Okay, so brokers arrange for borrowing and lending, not market makers. The market maker does not do that. All they do is buy when you want to sell and sell when you want to buy. That's all market makers do. So market makers are not part of this conversation. They're not the same as brokers. They're not on the. They're not. They don't perform the same function as hedge funds. And they make money on the spread, whereas participants try to make money by making profit on the spread between buying and selling something. So buying low and selling high, or selling high and buying low. But that's not what market makers do. In a way, it is because they will sell at the ask and buy at the bid, so they make the difference there. But it's not. They're not a participant in the market the same way. Okay, so yeah, Manny was right. Naked shorts. Yeah, at one point it was estimated, or some DD done, saying approximately 2+ billion synthetic shares existed, and my theory is that it hasn't went down any since then 2 years ago. If short percentages are almost always over 50%, oh, short volume, short volume, right? Mm-hmm. How can there not be more than 20%, 23% short? The number should be going up every single day with over 50% short. Maybe I'm a total tard. Yes. I mean, no, not really, which is possible, but sounds right to me. But that's the problem with things sounding right and also admitting that you don't know. So, on one hand, you say you don't know. On the other hand, it sounds right. So, what are you going to go with? Well, of course, you're going to go with it sounds right. So, we've talked about short volume versus short interest. I mean, let me see if I can find an easy explainer real quick, but this is a dumb way to set this up. All right, FINRA. We know what short selling is. the investor does not own the stock, which, I mean, shit. I mean, people sell things that they don't personally own all the time. It happens all the time. It happens a lot. When an investor engages in short selling, two things can happen. If the price of the stock drops, the short seller can buy the stock at the lower price and make a profit. The price of the stock rises, the short seller will lose money. An investor may, but they don't lose money until they close the trade. So, you know, why would you close the trade unless you had to? Because hopefully you open the trade at the top. That's the idea when it's overvalued. An investor may engage in short selling for many reasons, such as to profit from declining the stock or to hedge the risk of other positions. To open a short position, an investor places a short sale order with their brokerage firm in a stock that the investor does not own. This is done in a margin account. Because the investor does not own the shares, the brokerage firm will look to locate the shares prior to executing the short sale. These shares may be identified in the brokerage firm's inventory, the margin accounts of other customers, or other sources. Once the trade is executed, the investor's margin account will show the proceeds of the sale. Ultimately, the investor must obtain these securities to close the position. Until this occurs, the investor's account will reflect a short position. To close the position, the investor can purchase the stock in the market, which they hope will be at a lower price than they sold the shares short. Okay, makes sense. Short interest is a snapshot of the total open short positions existing on the books. So it's a snapshot of all the open short positions, the open interest of the short positions, and records, and I'm sorry, on the books and records of brokerage firms for all equity securities on a given settlement date. Short interest data is collected for all stocks, both those that are listed and traded on an exchange and those that are over the counter. FINRA and U.S. exchange rules require that brokerage firms report short interest data to FINRA on a per security basis for all customer and proprietary firm accounts twice a month. Around the middle of the month and again at the end. For stocks listed on a U.S. exchange, FINRA shares the data with the listing exchange. FINRA also publishes the short interest on its website. Okay, right. What short interest is not. In addition to short interest data, FINRA also publishes short sale volume data. The daily short sale volume data provides aggregated volume by security for all off-exchange short sale trades. This data excludes any trading activity that is not publicly disseminated and is not consolidated with exchange data. Some market participants mistakenly conclude that the bi-monthly short interest data is understated. So the snapshot, the first one, they say that that's understated because the short sale volume daily file reflects volume that is much larger than the positions reported as short interest. However, short interest position data does not and is not intended to equate to the daily short sale volume data posted on FINRA's website. So here we go. The short interest data is just a snapshot that reflects short positions held by brokerage firms at a specific moment in time on 2 discrete days each month. The short sale volume daily file reflects the aggregate volume of trades within certain parameters executed as short sales on individual trade dates. Okay, now we're going to get into these. The two sets of data are related in that short sale volume activity may ultimately result in a reportable short interest position. They're not the same. Let's see here. They give a couple examples. An investor might sell a security short and purchase shares to close the position on the same trade date. So that would be short volume, but not short interest because it would never get settled that way. It wouldn't be held for any length of time. And on the other hand, they say that if you open a short position, that day it will count as short volume and it'll go to short interest, but it won't be reflected in the short volume each day. Also, I don't know why they don't mention this on here, but the the shit. The other thing is that what Bull Run was talking about here, market makers selling a security to facilitate a trade, selling something they don't have, and he's right about that. So how does that get reported on this volume data? Well, that is short volume. So that's the irony. That's the ultimate irony of all of this. The apes are sitting there bitching about short interest, and they conflate short interest with short volume, and they're not the same necessarily. And then this person saying like, you know, if the short percentages are almost always over 50%, how can there not be more than 23% short? Well, it's because those um, that 50% of short volume, in reality, what most of that is, like most of it, 48% or something, is actually market makers selling to retail investors, selling in this way where they are selling it, they're going ahead and selling it to you at the price that it currently is, and then they find the shares after the trade's been executed. So, in the interest of providing liquidity and fulfilling the national best bid and offer, which changes all the time, constantly changing, it just works better to just go ahead and sell it to you and then settle it. Let another department handle that, you know. And so that's sort of the reason. But um, retail investor purchases are more often than not reported as short position, or I'm sorry, short volume. See, it's confusing. Short volume. But those positions are closed, quote unquote. I forget exactly the length of time. They have to be closed like pretty much instantly after. I mean, within a couple minutes, I believe, uh, to provide the share. So, but that's the other thing. So, short volume, which is high, like 50, 60%, what that actually reflects, and this is the ironic part. Short volume actually indicates retail buying by and large. So when the apes complain about short volume being over 70% or whatever, they're literally bitching about retail investors buying the stock. That's the funny part. And Badback says this is why settlement time is not instantaneous because of the need to be able to provide liquidity in the market. Right. So you can't settle it instantly because it may not be delivered instantly. So more like the old Netflix, you know, when you would get a DVD in the mail, more like that, less like the new Netflix. The new Netflix is instantaneous settlement. You stream it, you click on what you want, and then you instantly have it in some form that you can consume. However, this is more like the old way. You click on what you want, and then you wait a couple days, and it comes in the mail. Then you can consume it. But actually, it's like a hybrid of the two because you click on the stock you want to buy, and it is reflected in your account. You can consume it, quote unquote. You can sell it if you want to, or you can hold on to it, but you can enjoy it immediately. However, in the in the background, behind the scenes, it's not technically there until 2 days later. So it's like, you know, the best of both Netflixes, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I mean, I know some people have to remember the old Netflix, the late 90s Netflix, early 00s Netflix. But anyway, yeah, no. I don't think they're a total tard, but I mean they're kind of because they, have been watching this for 2 years and never bothered to look into that. I mean, the answers are out there. We'll get a couple more comments here. You're assuming what is sold is being sold is real. There's a reason AMC has been on the threshold list for 9 days. But again, it's not that they sold shares that don't exist. That's an incorrect description of this. That's incorrect description. There is no way to sell shares knowingly that don't exist. I mean, I'm not aware of it. And that's why you have Mark Cohodes and others, Plotkin and other people saying, look, there's no way for us to naked short sell. Now, whether the broker ends up failing on delivering the shares, that's, you know, that's that's the broker, that's the sell side's problem. The sell side broker's problem. That's my broker's problem. Not my I didn't say to do that. I didn't tell them to naked short it. I told them to short it and they said okay. And then they tried to find the shares and they couldn't find them. So it really is big, fat, nothing burger with extra mayo starred. It really is. If I have 10 shares, I sell 10 to you and 10 to someone else, I now have negative 10 shares on my books. You can sell your shares as they go up, and so can the other guy, while I still have to purchase 10 shares to even out my books. But you can't sell 20 shares if you only own 10. And it's not even, why would you have 10 shares? Like, you're not selling those. That's a long sale because you own the shares. You own the shares. That's a long sale. So that doesn't even matter. I sell 10 to you and 10 to someone else. That's a short sale, and those would be under a locate. You have negative 10 on your books. That's correct. You can sell your shares as they go up. True. And so can the other guy. Okay. While I still have to purchase 10 shares to even out my books. Yes. And the problem is, I don't know. The 74% increase in shares, whether fake or not, can still be bought and sold, but somewhere the books still need to be balanced. And that's exactly what happens during the settlement period. So I don't really understand the argument there. When AMC squeezes, still got that confidence, right? When AMC squeezes. Other retail are shorting us too. AMC, for whatever reason, is a target of a bunch of folks for whatever reason. I wonder why. This happens, I guess, when we live in a world of, hey, it's a good thing to bet against a company. Wow. What a salty ass retard here. Trust no one except yourself. If you believe, you stay. If not, you go. Oh, those are tough words. Another question is how is the share price dropping when hedge funds are buying? But see, that's the problem with all this 13F nonsense. Hedge funds are reporting that they bought last quarter. They're reporting now that they bought shares at some point last quarter. Let me say it one more time. 45 days after the end of a quarter, they tell you that they bought shares in that or that they held shares at the end of that quarter. So, fourth quarter of 2022, 13Fs came out deadline today. So, what you're looking at there is what was held by those participants on the last day of the fourth quarter of 2022. So they aren't buying now. They bought already. They could have sold it for all we know. That's why these 13F filings are not really actionable in the way that people want them to be. They're delayed. And on some level, it makes sense that they're delayed. It does. And on the same type of level, it makes sense that short positions are not immediately disclosed. It does. But I'm not going to get into that now. So nobody asked me about that. I'm not going to get into it. Let's see. Um, Citadels sold but not yet bought. Securities should be over 65 billions by now. Oh boy. Bought, sold but not yet bought. I believe it says purchased, but anyway, yeah, that's that's another nothing burger. Hedge fund and short seller are two different things. They use this method called crime. I think there are a few narratives out there claiming things that make no sense. Oh, you think? You think. Hell, retail sold. Remember that? And apes sold ape. And the shorts have all covered. Nothing changes for me. Buy and hold all the way. Okay, what? I'm not selling my AMC for ape, not selling any options. The only thing I trust is buy and hold. Okay. How's it working out for you? Probably using multiple portfolios, longs in one and short in the other, profiting on movement in either direction. But plus, most shares traded are counterfeit. Counterfeit. That's the first time I've seen that in this answer. Um, so what is the problem here? Like, what's the logical problem with this one? Longs in one portfolio, short in the other, profiting on movement in either direction. Well, obviously, if you have two equal portfolios, one of which is all long positions in the stock and the other which is all short positions in the stock, and you have the same number of shares in each portfolio, so you're short and long the same number simultaneously, what is the net result when the stock moves in either direction? I mean, these people should be able to figure that out. I think they should be able to figure it out. Holy moly. Okay. I mean, exactly. That's a no net change. The short position, if the stock goes down by $10, the short position is going to go up by $10, and the long position is going to go down by $10, and there's no net change. No net change. And that's what the market makers want, which is there's the irony there. That's what the market makers do basically. They don't want they they don't want to be affected by the change in the price of the securities that they sell and the options that they sell. They don't want to profit or lose on that because that's not their business model. So they do this so that there is no net change in their position, their aggregate position, um, of what they've sold or what they've had to buy. So that's funny. Break even. Where's the fun in that? Yep, no fun. Buying puts as a hedge for your long shares. So yeah. Plus, most shares traded are counterfeit. Well, we got to throw that in there. All right. So we got our answer. It's crime. There should be a financial agency similar to CPS for these poor people's portfolios. Call it PPS, or Portfolio Protective Services. That's funny. Okay. Model 3 dude's got this for us. So we'll pivot over to a video or two, and then I'm going to keep the stream short. But this is not financial advice. It's not legal advice. It's for entertainment and educational purposes only.
This is not financial advice. It's not legal advice for entertainment and educational purposes only. And anything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision.
Any.
That being said, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff so you get the videos I put them out. See what I'm thinking. See I'm analyzing that data.
Analyzing that data.
They release us as false, but they give us a false narrative the moment so we can make bad trading decisions. Listen.
Oh. Listen.
Yesterday, Valentine's Day, there were no shares available to short all day. Yet 70%, and listen to these numbers.
Oh yeah.
70% of the volume was shorted shares, and the volume.
Oh.
6 million.
There it is. There it is. There it is. Model 3 dude said Donnie trying to talk about shorted shares. He just said 70% of the volume was shorted. That sounds like short volume.
There were no shares available to short all day. Yet 70%, and listen to this numbers, 70% of the volume was shorted shares. And the
I'm curious if that's even true. I don't even know if that's true. Is that even true? Which day? I know he said which day.
yesterday,
Yesterday.
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. Okay. Look at that face. What?
Yesterday, Valentine's Day.
Okay. What a clown. This guy is such a buffoon. Why the hell is he why the hell do people who are totally ignorant and seemingly incapable of educating themselves, why are they the ones who have to fucking sit there and fucking spew diarrhea from their mouth? Jesus Christ. Oh, he's a complete fucking moron. Total fucking retard. Sally shorts synthetic shares down by the seashore. I'm not going to say that 5 times fast. They've learned nothing. They've gotten dumber. They've devolved. Yeah, indeed. Okay, the 14th. 63.09 percent short volume was 22 million. Short percent of total okay, 57 actually. So yeah, 57 or well, we're looking at yesterday. 63.09, not 70. Not 70. So, and if we go change it to short volume, that says that 19 million shares were short volume. AMC short volume summary for February 15th, not short interest. Let's see. It doesn't say really anything else. They should clarify that. Short percent of total 63 yesterday. Today 57. What's the difference between 57 and 63? You know. And then you go to short volume and look at this. Today, a day when AMC priced it what? Oh, yeah, there's that green day that everybody has been predicting for the last week, over a week. They got their green day today. Yay. But the price went up by 14, almost 15%. Well, it's only 67 cents, so yay again. On with a volume of 46 million shares. Yet there was actually more in terms of the number of shares because of the higher overall volume, but still there were more shares that were short volume today, and the price went up that much, yet there was practically the same percentage of short volume as yesterday. So how does that work? Look at yesterday. This is yesterday. Valentine's Day. Here. So about the same amount was short volume both days, and this day this happened, this day this happened. You know, if they say that short volume, you know, is hedge fund short selling, which is not. So, all right. His claim is that there were no shares to short. Right. So how is 70% of the volume shorted shares if there are no shares available to short? But of course, that short volume that he's talking about, that short volume here, that 63%, not 70, was not short selling. It was buying. It was long buying. And that does not matter. It doesn't matter if there's shares available to borrow because those shares aren't borrowed anyway. You're not borrowing it. It doesn't get borrowed and given to you. I mean, technically, I suppose it does, but it's not the same share. In other words, you get matched in settlement with a share. Yeah. So if you're buying from a short seller, if you're not buying from a short seller, you're still getting matched with a share in settlement. So, like I said, there's really no difference. It doesn't matter. None of this shit matters. That's the infuriating thing. None of this shit makes a goddamn bit of difference. I mean, it just so happens that he's wrong, and the short volume was about the same percentage wise, and it was actually higher in actual amount yesterday. I'm sorry, today, but the price went up today. So how could that be if what he's saying is true? Doesn't make sense.
It was a false narrative. The market so we can make bad trading decisions. Listen. Yesterday, Valentine's Day, there were no shares available to short all day. Yet
Yes.
70%, and listen to these numbers, 70% of the volume was shorted shares. And the volume was about
63.
say 36 million. So 70% of 36 million, 76 to 42, 73 to 21. We're talking 25 million, give or take. 25 million shorted shares were traded yesterday on February
19 million.
25 million. Yet, for the entire day, there were no shares available to short.
God, it sucks to be ignorant. I mean, actually, no, it doesn't.
Explanation is
He's happy. He is, he feels good. He's caught him in a lie. He's caught him in the fraud. Ignorance is bliss, right? No, it's not. That is a hard crashing down reality. It's like, and this is the thing. This is straight up misinformation right now. This is straight up wrong. It's straight up misinformation. Obviously, he doesn't know what he's talking about. So the answer then is either learn it and present it correctly, or you need to know that you're not informing people of the facts. But does anybody care? Do these clowns care? No, of course they don't. They don't want to say it correctly. They don't want to give facts because the facts, and listen to these numbers carefully, the facts don't prove the narrative. The narrative preceded the facts. The narrative preceded the facts. The narrative existed. Facts were created to fit the narrative. Quote unquote created. Quote unquote facts. Quote unquote narrative. Quote unquote the. But Jesus.
criminality.
And it all comes back down to the fact that they don't know shit about this stuff, and they haven't in 2 years taken the initiative to actually go and learn it. That's sad. That's really sad because in 2021, hearing all this stuff for the first time about what these people were saying, which wasn't this wild, but it was pretty wild still. Looking into it, it was like pretty much the first time I did any research at all. It became clear, like, oh, whoa, this is a load of shit. This is a bullshit narrative. This is a bullshit narrative. All right. But they haven't bothered to do that, or they would rather trust a dumbass talking head on YouTube than, empirical data that has a source, you know, data that has anything behind it besides what some idiot, some retard who always has nice press shirts. I mean, he does usually. That's great. But I'd rather have a wrinkled t-shirt and be grounded in reality than have the nicest, whitest pressed shirts that you could have and be this fucking ignorant and unaware, seemingly, of how ignorant you are. Don't judge a book by its cover. that's a lesson for the apes here. But
the only explanation is counterfeit, fake.
Oh
shares
yeah.
That these bad actors are
Counterfeit,
pushing
fake.
in the market to illegally.
They're not only fake. They're counterfeit fake. So they're not even real fake. They're fake. Wow. That's double layer of crime.
Manipulate the price of AMC. The evidence is absolutely overwhelming. And according to Ortex, the cost to borrow is almost at 1,000% again.
Oh my God.
So let's do a rehash.
Let us do it.
No shares available.
Let me do some more hash. Maybe
The short all day. Cost to borrow almost at 1,000%. According to Ortex, the cost to borrow max at 1,000%. Yet somehow 25 million shares.
Well,
25.
we're not even talking. I mean, he's so fucking turned. Look at that face. He's so turned around and just completely misinformed. You know, it's ridiculous. But hey, how about this? Oops. Oh, I just messed it up. Well, I like it better that way anyway. Oh, there we go. Oh, now, no? Okay, anyway, yeah, there it is. Ortex is delayed info, yes. But what here's the thing about using Ortex data. If he bothered to look at the rest of the Ortex data, right? If he bothered to look at that, he would see other information there. You know, like how many shares are lent out in a day, and how many were returned, as of 2 trading days ago, and all these kind of things. So you can see that on a daily basis, there are shares coming in and coming out, being lent and being returned, being borrowed and being returned. So, I mean, show me a day where Ortex said literally 0 shares were returned. So if shares were returned, then that means that there are shares available. And I don't know where he's seeing that. Where did he see 0 shares available? Where is it at? Where did he say?
They don't make every day to yet 7 yesterday, Valentine's Day, there were no shares available to short all day.
According to whom?
Yet 70%.
Probably Stonko Tracker, Interactive Brokers, which it says right on the goddamn thing. It says right on there that this is Interactive Brokers share availability. Where is it? Trading volume, borrowed shares. Where the fuck is it? Fails to deliver. Here. I think here. No? Available shares to borrow. The available shares to borrow is an amount provided by Interactive Brokers. It only displays the amount of shares that can be borrowed from them. It's not the total amount of available shares to borrow, but gives a good indication of what's happening. So, has Ortex ever said that there are no shares available to borrow? Ortex doesn't know that, do they? The best that they can come up with is that ridiculous utilization figure that's been pegged at 100 for like the last year. And that's because shares are relent before settlement. So anyway, I'm kind of retarded, but this is not that hard. Not.
See, the evidence is absolutely overwhelming.
That you're an idiot.
And
I agree.
According to Ortex,
that you're kind of retarded.
The borrow is almost at 1,000% again. So let's do a rehash.
Okay.
No shares available to short all day.
Where? According to whom?
Almost at 1,000%. According to Ortex, the cost to borrow max at 1,000%.
Max.
Yet somehow 25 million shares. 25 million shares was short into the market yesterday to illegally manipulate the price. in any other industry, in any other market.
Well, okay, let's look at the actual facts. Yesterday, it was 19 million short volume. That's not the same as short interest. Today, it was 22 million short volume. Okay, so it was higher, it was more shares, short volume today. Let's rehash what happened to the price today with more short volume shares. The price went up by almost 15 fucking percent. So why aren't you talking about that? Yesterday, with fewer short volume shares, they did that apparently to manipulate the price down. But today, price went up by a lot more than it went down yesterday. What an idiot.
This would warrant an investigation by the regulatory agencies.
He wants the CFTC, who has nothing to do with these stocks, to look into it.
Yet
I want him to mention CFTC again.
somehow the SEC sees nothing wrong, FINRA sees nothing wrong, CFTC sees nothing
There it is.
wrong, DTCC sees nothing wrong.
DTCC sees nothing wrong.
Please leave some comments. Tell me what you think. How is there 0 shares of
0 Shias. There you go. Commenting. There was no audio. I was thinking. The market crooks are still robbing us retailers. I absolutely cannot wait for this to be done with. We're seeing that comment a lot. Can the SEC be sued for neglect of duty? Oh my God. Jamal Smith. Wow. I guarantee he's a Mensa member. Okay. Basically, the comments are retarded. Let's see. There was like one other video that somebody. Let's see here. Not the porcupine video. You know, there's a actually there's a an image that that sums up my feelings on this. Here, let me bring it in here real quick. This image here. It's a custom job. It's a custom job. I don't believe you, Donnie, because you're lying. You may not know you're lying, but that doesn't not make it a lie. It doesn't make it any less harmful. Doesn't make it any less ridiculous. So do us all a favor and shut up. Do some more reading. Do some more digging. Learn some shit, and still don't come back on YouTube, because chances are that you didn't learn anything. And yeah, and yes, that is new. That one is new. There's some other new ones. Oh, the next video where he contradicts what he just said. Okay, we'll do a little bit of it. Oops, I gotta change this here. Great.
This is not financial advice. It's not legal advice for entertainment, educational purposes only. And anything I say is my opinion.
Same, sure.
Make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos. That being said, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff, so you get the videos. I put them out. See what I'm thinking. See man alive.
All of that.
I tell y'all every day
algorithm stuff.
Us as false, meant to give us a false narrative of the market, so we can make bad trading decisions. Listen, the market is in turmoil. The bad actors' liquidity is drying up. And
liquidity drying up again. It's drying up.
Even though they try to make us think that everything is fine, that inflation is under control, like I tell y'all every day, don't listen to what they say. Watch what they do. Vanguard is closing down, liquidating a mutual fund for the first time since the pandemic. Okay, it's VASFX. And it's a mutual fund that Vanguard has decided is not making any money, so they're getting rid of it.
Oh boy.
How bad the market has to be that Vanguard is shutting down or liquidating a mutual fund, and they haven't done that since the pandemic when nobody was making any money, when everything was shut down.
Nobody was making any money during the pandemic? What are you fucking smoking over there? What an idiot.
And remember this.
Oh, don't get me started on AMC Biggums. Crackhead Biggums.
2022, Vanguard liquidated the ETF for the first time in their history.
Oh my God.
Okay?
Oh, poor Vanguard.
As far as I'm concerned, is in trouble, but it's not just Vanguard, it's the broader market as a whole. And they want us to think that the market
Mr.
is doing
Crocodile
good.
Teeth.
Think that everything is fine, but their actions tell us the exact opposite.
Well, see, unlike the apes, okay, now this is a crucial difference. And I, on one hand, I can understand why he would think this. Institutions, and some retail investors even, if something's not working, they change it. Donnie here, you know, just tries to come up with more bullshit to try to justify why he's right and stick to his guns and, you know, I'm never selling my shares and buy and hold and all that garbage. But at the end of the day, that doesn't always work. It usually doesn't work because everything has a lifespan. Everything has, you know, a beginning and an end. So if it's close to the end of something and you have a lot of reasonable signs to be able to tell that the probability is higher that this is declining, doesn't mean it necessarily will go all the way to zero, but the conditions that allowed it to explode before don't exist anymore. So, given all that stuff, then you know, you make a decision and you cut your losses, or you change it up, or you change your position, or you trim it down, or whatever you do, you hedge it, whatever. Not this guy, not these guys. Oh no. Changing something, admitting that something's not working is failure. It's bad. You don't do that. You don't give up. You don't quit. But, you know, I mean, they also say they'll hold to zero. Oh, yeah, I'll hold to zero before I give my shares to the hedge funds. Okay, well, then you lost. And you fucking lost. What can you say?
As far as I'm concerned, I do not believe it will be the last mutual fund to be liquidated. I believe there will be more liquidations on the horizon. And as I tell y'all every day, when your liquidity runs out, the margin calls will come and they will be forced
margin calls
to close out their AMC and GME shorts. So the SEC, they don't have to do their job. DTCC doesn't have to do their job. FINRA doesn't have to do their job. CFTC doesn't have to do their job.
What is their job? What is the CFTC's job? We're not talking about futures, Donnie. Jesus Christ, with your fucking smug ass fucking smile.
It's gonna do what it does and protect retail investors because the market always balances out. As far as I'm continue to buy, hold, or sell, I'm just telling you for the small time that I've been in the market,
balance out.
For the little bit of DD they say we don't do, I found that the market tends to balance itself out and the bad actors are gonna be in trouble. Anyway, please leave some comments.
Okay.
Tell me what you think.
Wow. That is fantastic. That's fantastically stupid. Um, let's see. So we'll see a little bit of this ape father guy. The market is going to protect retail by balancing out, right? Oh yeah, that's rich. That's I mean, unlike the apes. Look at this guy. What the hell is wrong with this guy?
Other than that, I want to have a little bit of a debate with the haters. I guess we
Okay,
could all make
let's
our
go.
points.
Let's
What's
go.
up, Manuel? Happy Valentine's Day to you and your girl.
Oh.
So, the
Nice.
argument so far has been Ape Father is not qualified to be a leader in any way, shape, or form. The 10-for-1 reverse stock split is already going to be decided. It's going to be a yes. There's nothing that we could do about it. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Manuel. This is the arguments I'm getting for all the haters. The regulator says there's nothing we could do. 90% of our shares are going to be gone. I just saw Frankie Muhammad put out a comment that Antera are buying puts on AMC. Again, I'll say it's alleged, but I just read that. It wouldn't surprise me one iota. It wouldn't surprise me.
There it is.
Okay. So the question is all of this true? Are all the haters true? Is it that it's over, it's finished, we lost, it's time to pack it in and give up? Which, by the way, for the first time, I want you all to know something.
I've never given up on anything.
I've never considered ever giving up on AMC. Never. Until recently. And you want to know why I feel like giving up? It's not because of Adam Aron.
Because of Scott fucking Allen.
The apes. I just feel, in my opinion, that the apes. I don't agree with you, Manuel. I don't agree with you. You want to know what it is, and it kind of really pisses me off. It was
over on June 2021.
Ken Griffin is laughing at all of us like we're Mamalukes. He's laughing. Everything that Ken Griffin set out to accomplish, everything that Ken Griffin set out to do, he won.
What, made billions of dollars? Executing retail trades? Ken Griffin doesn't give a fuck about AMC. I can guarantee that. He doesn't give a fucking shit about AMC or these dumbass idiots who've lost money. That doesn't matter. He doesn't care. He made money. I thought, but by the way, I thought it was to bankrupt AMC. I thought that was the goal. So he didn't achieve that yet.
He instilled fear in all of us. He instilled.
You guys are the ones who came up with this Ken Griffin narrative. What the fuck are you talking about? He instilled fear? No. You guys yourselves instilled it in your own community. And I have a term for that I coined last year or 2021. Reflexive FUD. That's reflexive. That's a perfect example of reflexive FUD because it's something that creates an atmosphere of fear, uncertainty, or doubt. It's self-directed. It's directed back towards one's own group. So it's not an outside person. It's an inside person who's creating this boogeyman named Ken Griffin. It's your own fault. And then people buy into it because it's an easy explanation. You know, there has to be a bad guy, bad actors, malfeasance. And this is the most ridiculous shit. You guys created it. It was reflexive FUD. Nobody came in. I mean, maybe they did, actually. I don't know. I have to say, I don't know. Somebody came up with, somebody decided that Ken Griffin was the enemy. I don't know who it was, but then it spread throughout this group because the group itself promoted it. The group itself promoted it. So he's wrong here.
Basically,
Imagine that.
all of us to just get tired out, to get exhausted. This thing is never going to squeeze. Synthetics are not real. Naked shorting is not happening. This is a fair marketplace. AMC is just a piece of garbage company, and we're all wasting our time.
No, Model 3 dude. No. He can't believe what he's done. And the truth is, he's eating everything around him. Oh my God.
He accomplished his goal and he won. Okay? He won. Now, the thing is, what you all don't understand, yeah, absolutely, Adam Aron and brokers are laughing. But what you're all not understanding is this. The SEC, just please try to have an open mind and listen to me, please, because I'm trying to talk to you intelligently. The SEC does not require Citadel Connect or hedge funds to disclose their synthetic positions. I just want you, this is very important. Even if you heard this before, this is very, very important for you to understand.
Synthetic
so
short
what does
positions?
that mean? Synthetic shares and naked shorting is not regulated. Now,
What?
you know how the SEC says...
What the fuck are you talking about? Yes, it is. It's illegal. It is illegal. It would be illegal if it happened. And what I mean is, it would be illegal if a hedge fund established a position as a naked short position, but it's not even possible. And if it does occur, it is taken care of in a timely manner, and it's the broker who's responsible for borrowing the fucking shares. But he's so many steps away from being able to understand that. Holy
naked
fucking
shorting
hell.
is illegal.
Yeah.
Like every way, if you look up...
because it doesn't
naked
matter.
short.
You know how I know it doesn't matter? Because nothing ever happens with the FTDs. Nothing. Because it's not going to happen with the FTDs. Nothing is going to happen with the FTDs because, again, it's like UPS is a day late delivering your package. You still get it. You paid for it and you receive it. If any of this had any effect on anything, then this FTD, threshold security list, all this garbage would have an effect, but it doesn't. It doesn't correlate. Does not correlate. So it doesn't make a goddamn difference at all. This is distraction at its finest. Whoever came up with this one, and I think they just kind of found their way to it. No, I don't know if anybody actually plotted this. Maybe they did, but the fact that they came to this and they're spinning their wheels on FTDs for almost 2 years, what a distraction. It has distracted them from doing anything. Distracted them from learning, actually trading, distracted them from everything. Wow, what a bunch of bullshit.
It's supposed to be an illegal practice. The SEC has said many, many times they have absolutely no tolerance for naked shorting. But yet, tell me now if this makes any sense to any one of you. Okay? But listen to me. Again, you're not listening to me, Manuel. When you say that
no
there's
evidence of naked shorting.
No one has ever checked. Let me give you an analogy.
Oh, okay.
Imagine like I went and I robbed a bank. Are you ready?
It's not an analogy.
And I robbed $1 million out of a bank. Here's the thing.
That's not,
Are you ready?
that's flawed from the beginning. No, I'm not ready. I'm not listening to that. That's garbage. Let's say that I went and robbed the bank. No, you're too fucking fat to rob a fucking bank. What the fuck? I hate this guy. I hope he loses everything. I think he already has. So there. There. What an idiot. Well, let's say I rob a bank. No, let's not say that because that's nothing like this. You setting up a false analogy? Not even going to listen to it. Not even going to listen to it. All right, one more short video here. Let's see. I gotta go. Oh, I know. I think I'll run everybody away. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I know. Fuck. Look at this. Listen to this. I mean,
even further, you can see how price was kind of coming down, and this is the abyss here, and then this is the rebirth, right? The death and rebirth of AMC's stock, and now we're experiencing that whole path again ever since that May-June time frame. We're going through this abyss of death and rebirth. The transformation of the company, getting back on its feet again, and starting to become healthy, and for our story to change. And we're going to have a period of time here where atonement's coming up.
Atonement.
We have to make decisions that are really tough decisions. We're gonna have to make tough choices, just really tough choices. And
Professor K.C. Shaw here, and I'll end with the Lou video. I'll end with the latest Lou video. I'll let him play us out.
And the question is can we make the right ones? Without the right choices to get there, we're not going to get the gift of goodness of goddess, the returns, the sick returns that we've been looking for the whole time. And that is what's considered the hero's journey, one of the best, I think, well-known hero's journey that's been talked about by a lot of different probably professors that have gone to, taught this in schools and whatnot, have probably mentioned like Star Wars quite often. It's probably one of the best heroes journeys
I took
imagine, because it has
plenty of literature classes and whatever, philosophy, and all kinds of shit in college. I never had a single goddamn professor who talked about fucking Star Wars, okay? Not once did an English professor ever mention Star Wars when talking about plot devices and story arcs and literary criticism. No. You're just a nerd.
All of this so many times throughout the entire story. And so this is the hero's journey, and we're on it. We're on that hero's journey. But I want you guys to understand that this transformation, the transformation that we're seeing that's taking place right now is going to occur with or without us. And us making the right decisions. This is going to
really sounds like cult language to me.
We're going to have some major decisions, and I'm not talking about the vote. You're probably thinking like, oh, Casey, you're talking about the vote. Nope, that's not it. You're going to have decisions that you're going to have to make after that are going to be super difficult decisions that are either going to allow you to be a successful hero in this journey, and a lot of that all comes back to the supernatural aid. Will you be able to buy and hold? That's the kryptonite. If not, then this is going to take us straight back to here.
How do you do that?
The threshold, the beginning of the transformation, and starting all over again.
That's not what happens. It's a circle.
And this happens. Sometimes this happens in these cycles where you never actually get to the point to where you've let go. You've let go and fully and honestly have started to understand what this is all about, why buy and hold works.
Why buy and hold works.
1 second here. I just want to do something real quick.
That's good because that's what heroes do. They buy and hold. You're heroes for buying and holding.
Yeah. So the atonement is getting away from greed. Greed is the sin.
Greed. Okay.
This is the sin. This is what causes stocks in general to be traded the way that they are. Greed. The sin is greed.
Traded the way that they
the
are.
Atonement, the way you get through it, the supernatural aid of buy and hold.
So get rid of the
gets
sin.
You through the atonement. It's letting go of greed. It's not letting greed be the better of you. It's not saying I need to have mine. I need my money and I need my money now. Getting past the sin and the greed, the sin of greed, gets you to the return.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
yeah.
when you haven't had your atonement of
Eckhart Tolle,
greed,
Holy,
you get to start your journey all
Eckhart
back
Tolle
over again.
Yeah, that guy was nuts.
That's the hero's journey. So think about that, because your greed will be tested in the future. Promise. I absolutely promise you that your greed will be tested.
All right.
The question is will you be able to avoid the greed? Or are you going to start back over again and go back to the threshold, the beginning of the transformation? It's coming. This is why I keep telling you guys, have your 5 wives. Have your 5 wives.
Have your 5 wives.
Know why you did this. Know why you went through all of this. Know why you went through all of this.
What the hell?
So you don't have to start all over again.
All right. Oh, man. That guy is... I don't even know. All right, last one. Lou AMC Facts. Here we go. Have a good one, Model 3 dude. Thanks for the video links.
Take this moment to drop some AMC facts. Okay, when I first popped up, I told you those weren't the real numbers. A couple of days later, it ran. Popcorn stopped it, not me. Then, I told you ape was the death of everything.
Ape was the death of everything.
Nothing's happened to AMC since ape. Now, we got the reverse split on us. Now this reverse split, a lot of people are saying, no, it's the MOAS. Hold on a second. I'm like, now, do I believe in the phase 1, phase 2, phase 3? My theory, yeah. But that doesn't mean you have to. If you want to hold on to your ape and ride it through, or AMC it through the reverse split to the other side, I always told you, you do what's good for you. But as far as what's for me, I'm going to do what's good for me. But I put some facts out there. Those are those facts. But I'll put some facts that people don't like to talk about. 1, Mob Cohen is not your silverback. He did not help you. The messages he puts out are not secret messages to let you know that he's cornering the shorts. Nothing he has done on his side has helped you. No stock since GameStop has gone from those numbers to the triple digits.
More like Ripple.
So to the moon was a fallacy from the other side up on Reddit, and everybody was just holding for that incredible thing. Could a stock run to that? Yeah, stock could run to that. But with the level of manipulation and everything that goes on,
oh yeah,
active people on the other side working on suppressing everything, keeping us in the loop. Like I said, you do your play, I do my play. I'm constantly looking for the next play that's like at 40 cents that'll run to like $8, $9, $10. I'll find it. There's no problem. I got a lot of plays put around me. I'm in New York right now, doing some stuff, whatever. I'm gonna get back home.
Doing some stuff, running some scams.
Days, the hunt begins. But this play, the AMC 8, you run it any way you want, and God bless you, and I wish you have a bazillion dollars that day. I want to make money. You want to make money. We all want to make money. But for the people that want to be out there poisoning the water, just remember, I warned a lot of you motherfuckers along the way, only to see shit happening later on. But you do whatever you're gonna do. I got a clear conscience moving forward. So that's pretty much it. Giant hugs, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right. So we'll end with a word from this is a public service announcement from Oliver's Papa. Oliver's Papa. Check out his channel at Oliver's Papa. Have a good night. Catch you sometime later.
Well, hello there. It's Oliver's Papa. How are you? You might ask yourself, what am I doing in the freezer with my balls so cold they're up in my stomach? You might ask yourself that. Well, I'll tell you. I invested in AMC. I listened to Trey Collins, Mr. Eyebrows Kohrs, Jackson Hunter, all those guys. Listen to them. Bought into AMC, followed Aron, Mr. Big Dick Silverback, and got fucked out of my money. You can get fucked out of your money too, or you can take one of the two boats in a helicopter that's circling around right now, ready to save you, ready to fucking save you, or do you want to come back and work in the cooler with me?